What's going on, guys? DFS Warstrike here, and PGA is back after about a month of a break. We are back to doing PGA. I'm back to doing PGA videos. I hope you guys are just excited as I am. As you can see, I have a little bit different of a setup, especially going into this week, considering people have had a month off. Typically, when people go into break, I like to focus more on their recent course history more than how their recent performance is. As you can see at the top right corner, we have the course details that we're going to start with. Typically, I list this in the articles that I do, which I will be putting this in my article, and I will also be posting this into my Discord. So please like, comment, subscribe to the channel, guys. Let's grow as much as we can. And you can come join our Discord for free. My free link is in my articles and will also be posted on my Twitter. Please follow my Twitter at DFS Warstrike, which will be in the link below. Other than that, guys, let's get down into this slate. As you can see, the course details, it's a par 73. There's no cut line this week. It's a Bermuda grass. So over here at the chart that I made for a cheat sheet for this week, all the way on the left, you have all the golfers. Then you have the DK pricing. And then after that is kind of like my key stats that I've gone into for this week. And then the last 3 years where the golfers have finished. If you look at the names, the ones that have asterisks on them are typically ones that have no experience at the course. So I kind of just went with how they were on Bermuda grass typically in the last season. So I ranked them on their stats there. But other than that, typically what I do is I go through the top tier, the mid tier, and the low tier, and kind of go over the plays that I like. Now, I did kind of narrow this down to 32 golfers this week, mainly because there was just some that I probably won't have at all in my player pool. But other than that, let's get to it. We'll start at the top tier with the 10 plus K. Probably my favorite play in this range is Justin Thomas. JT here, the biggest thing that jumped out to me over everything is his last three finishes at this tournament. He got third, first, and third. That's very impressive to me. When you get into the 10 plus range, you typically want to finish, your guy wants to finish in the top three. If he's finishing pretty much below that, he's not really hitting his value at all. You want to pick somebody that has a high opportunity of winning this course and taking down the century tournament. So JT's probably my favorite play here up top. Second, I'd have to go Rom. Rom is arguably the best golfer in PGA right now. You can just see the green all the way across the board. For those of you that don't know, green is very good, orange is medium, and red is bad on my chart. But green all the way across the board, he's pretty much one of the fewest golfers that have that. He had a 7th, 10th, and 8th finish here. So, I mean, he definitely has winning upside going into this. Then probably my next favorite here is probably going to be Colin Morikawa. I do like him a lot going into this. I think, a 7th and a 7th place finish the last 2 years. Par fives are pretty important into this, and he was the best ranking on the field going into that. So I do like him as well. Bryson DeChambeau is somebody that I really like going into this as long as his putting's going. His putting, over the last couple months took a dip as well, but he has putted pretty well here at the tournament. But the last 6 months or so, his putting's kind of just taken a dip into everything. His bogey avoidance as well is something that's fallen off. And his freeway gain, I'm not really too concerned about that because he's probably the best driver in the league. So I do like him going into this. He is top 10 in birdie or better. So I do like Bryson. Victor Hovland, as you can see there, is kind of he doesn't have a lot of rounds going into this, but the history that he does have is last year, and he got 31st into it. He didn't really live up to it. He's probably a GPP only for me. If you want to roll with him in GPP, I don't mind it. But other than that, I'm probably not going to have too much of him out of the five that are in the 10 plus range. But other than that, that's my rankings going into that one. We'll drop down into the 9 and 8s. I'll kind of go from the top to the bottom there. Patrick Cantlay, I think, is a solid play going into this. If you see the last 2 years, he got 13th. That's not bad. And then he got 4th. That's more of what we're going to want to see. His par five's great. His freeway gain's lower than most, but other than that, he's pretty much top 10 in just about every stat. Putting, it's a pretty wide green, so I do like the putting. Xander Schauffele here as well. I really like. I like to pair him with JT together. As you can see, his last 3 years were top five finishes as well. So if you can get both of them into top five finishes to start your lines, that's pretty solid right there. There's nothing more you can really ask for. He also has winning upside too. Sam Burns is somebody I like as well. His putting is tied with Cantlay there at second, and then his par five game's pretty strong as well. He's a birdie machine. You can see there he's 10th in birdies. Just bogeys. He needs to avoid the bogeys. You see he's ranked 38th. If he avoids the bogeys, he could have a pretty big tournament. Going down to Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth is somebody you can always go with. He's safe. He's typically, a reliable candidate, especially last season. He's kind of just turned it back on and just absolutely killing it. You see birdies, he's second. So I do like Jordan Spieth as well. I think he's a solid play going into this. Going down to Hideki Matsuyama. Not so much on my side here. His putting's off, his freeway gains off. Last year he got a 41st finish. His birdie or better is pretty high. His bogey avoidance is great, but I just don't think he really has the top five upside going into this tournament. Brooks Koepka as well. He's somebody I'm not too high on based off recent performance. It's really only a 2019 where he finished 24th. But I mean, at that price tag and with it being a no cut event, we're going to need birdies and we're going to need high scoring golfers. And I don't really see that coming from Brooks at 8,500. He's good for GPP, but he's just probably not somebody I feel comfortable playing, especially in cash, really, or single entries. Daniel Berger right below him. Finished 10th last year. That's not bad at his spot. He's kind of in the middle of the field. I would like him to finish a little bit higher. His freeways and his bogey avoidance is great. His birdies is what we need. And this is a huge birdie tournament with it being a no cut event. And that's where I'm struggling to lock him in or say he's somebody I really want. It's just more of the birdies. He's ranked 15th and then 17th on birdie or better. I just think there's better options below him at that point. Cameron Smith as well. Cameron Smith, birdie or better is low. Cameron Smith's typically a safer cut line type person. His bogey avoidance is great. He just kind of mellows out. He finished 24th here. I'm not very high on Cameron Smith. I don't really think he's a birdie machine to lock into your slates. Sungjae Im, he can break your slate. Finished fifth here last year. That's impressive. You see he's got a couple top 10 stats there. He's sixth in birdies, seventh in freeway gains, and 10th in par fives. So I do like Sungjae Im a lot better than what I like with Hideki, Brooks, Berger, and Smith. I think Sungjae Im is probably my favorite play going into the 8K range. I think he's a solid option going into this week. I don't know if I'd put him over Spieth. I'd kind of debate the two, but I'd kind of go to Sungjae just based off pricing. But I do like Sungjae going into this. Abraham Manser going into this week as well. He's great on birdies. His bogey avoidance is 15th, which is average. He's just kind of average to me. I do like his putting and easy freeway gains. He's safe. He's awesome. Par five is where I'm not really liking it. And then 17th place finish is not something I'm really going for. I'd rather just pay the extra 100 and get Sungjae Im out of it. Tony Finau, not much experience here, got 31st last year. I don't really like Finau as much either. I think he can be great based off his price tag. That's probably the most attractive thing for him because he has winning upside just about every week he plays. So I do like Tony Finau going into this week at 8K. Other than that, that's really the only attention grabber I'm seeing statistically. It's not really that much for me. Patrick Reed, birdie machine. Patrick Reed's a awesome play at 7,900. I think it's great. He finished second here in 2020. He can make or break the slate as well. You can see the three finishes: 21st rough, second, 25th. But if you look across, he's 8 in birdies, 3rd in birdie or better. And as long as he avoids bogeys going into this, we're solid. Harris English is the defending champion. I think Harris English is a fine play as well. Going into this, bogey avoidance is there. He's a good birdie guy. Par five solid. I mean, he's green all the way across the board for me. So I do like Harris English as well, especially under 8K. That's kind of the other reason why I'm kind of debating Tony or not. because Reed and English are right below him and they're cheaper. And I just think they're better options anyways going into this week. Jason Kokrak, not particularly high on him. He's 35th now. He is a birdie machine, as though it doesn't show on the chart, but he is a birdie machine. I think he can be great, but it's the bogeys. The bogeys kills him. That's pretty much the thing that's gonna keep me off of him. I think he can score high based off the birdies. But then the bogeys I think are gonna kill him, which are gonna give him probably a small place finish. So Kokrak is kind of iffy to me. The Gooch man right here, not really on him. Gooch man doesn't really has not played here. He had Bermuda. When I locked it on Bermuda grass, those were his stats. None of them were really impressive to me, so I'm probably not going to be high on the Gooch man going into this week. Siwoo Kim, he did play in 2018, as you see. I noted right there. He finished 10th, solid. Um, Not particularly high on him though. I don't think he's really, with how strong this field is, I don't see him finishing in the top 10. So Kim is somebody who could possibly have a strong day one. But after that, we'll see what he can do. I'm particularly not crazy on him, but I think he can be solid for GPP plays if he gets off to a strong first round. Max Homa here, his freeway gains are great. He had a 25th place finish in 2020. I think he's a decent play here. I'd probably rather drop down to Power, who doesn't really have any experience here. And Bermuda grass doesn't look well, but Power to me is just personally has just been a reliable play for me pretty much the whole 2021 year. So I do like him. Phil Mickelson is somebody I like as well. Surprisingly, no experience here. Bermuda grass, you can see what he does there. He's 6 in birdies. I do like Phil. I mean, lock up the calves, man, because I mean he's coming off a month of break as well. I do think 6 birdies, par 5, he's 13th, birdie or better, 11th overall. I mean, I think he can be a birdie machine going into this course. Here at Sentry, I think he's going to be solid. And at his price tag being one of the lowest priced golfers too, I think Phil Mickelson's going to be a solid option. He go here. He's 11th in putting, 14th in birdies, and then 14th in par 5s. No experience here. Decent play. I don't think it's terrible. I mean, 6,400 towards the bottom. Why not? I think he can be decent. I don't know about a top 10 finish, but hopefully he can get some birdies. He's average when it comes to bogey avoidance. So if he can have a solid outing with some bogey avoidance, I think he's in line for a great weekend. Cam Davis. One thing I want to note at him, when I saw him here in Charlotte, man, I guess I didn't picture or realize how tall that man actually is. Like when I watched him play, I was just realizing, like, man, that dude's actually really tall. But anyways, back to this Cam Davis birdie machine as well. Bogey avoidance is terrible. If he can have solid down on bogeys, I think he's a great option here because you can see the birdies are going to go up, but it's whether or not he's going to maintain that score. EVR, I'm not very high on. I'm never very high on him because he always just seems to curse me when I take him. So EVR is probably not somebody I'm going to mess with. Kevin Kisner, I think he's solid. I mean, first in putting in the rankings, and then birdie or better, he's ranked 14th. Bogey avoidance is pretty rough, but that's going to be this whole tournament, man. The no cut. If they people who's going to avoid the most bogeys, really. And I mean, if you're hitting birdies and stuff, like, I mean, you're ranked there, you're 14th, and you're all the way at the bottom. And if you avoid bogeys, I mean, you could get a top 10 finish, and then you're 6K, your minimum. Like, I mean, that's solid. That's why I like Kevin Kisner going into this week. I like the chance on him. He does have a 24th and 14th place finish here. Even if he finished in that top 14, 15 range, I think that's pretty solid. I think that's great for a 6K player. Lucas Glover is somebody that I was actually very intrigued in. If you look at those stats, 5th in birdies, 11th in avoidance, and 1st in par 5s. And then his putting is average, it's 15th. So I do like his putting. If it can improve going into this tournament, I do like the play for Lucas Glover as well. Matt Jones, if you were in my Discord over the last year, you realized like we rode Matt Jones almost the whole year, and it pretty much worked out amazingly because he was cheap every week and we just kept taking him and he kept making the cut. He was very reliable for us. But here I'm probably not going to play him in a no cut event. You see there he's 14th in birdies, bogey avoidance. I don't think he's really a high scoring guy. I don't really see birdies and bogeys back and forth. I don't really see that. I kind of just see it being kind of like a clean slate for him. At 6K, I kind of like Kisner and Glover more, but I don't think Matt Jones is a bad play. Stuart Sink here is somebody that I'm not really high on. Could have a strong first day, you know, kind of like what I was saying about Kim, but Sink is not somebody I'm probably going to ride going into this tournament. If I'm playing like the whole weekends or stuff, I'm doing a showdown for round one. Maybe I'll have some Sink because he can have a strong round one. But after that, I don't think Sink's really going to have as much upside as what Kisner and Gleber have. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much who I'm going to have on my player pool this week. Look out for my article coming out. I'll have the lock of the week as usual, my favorite play to go with the lock, and then typically my favorite value play towards the bottom of the tiers as well. But other than that, guys, that's going to be it for me. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please like, comment who your favorite golfer is going to be this week. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to come join our Discord, the link will be below. I'll post my Twitter as well. Give me a follow on there. I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one and good luck on this slate. Okay. All right. Bye, guys.